Do you feel like your conversations are stuck on repeat? Like, didn't we just have this conversation? Or why can't we get anywhere? You're stuck. Well, if that is you today, we're going to give you some relationship conversational hacks, things you need to do right now to get your conversations off pause and move forward to understanding. Find out what these hacks are right now. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Home to Haven podcast where we're married and growing in communication. We're so excited, so grateful for you being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We wouldn't be here without you. So if you're listening, please rate and review the podcast, help it rank higher for people to find it just like you. If you're watching us there on YouTube, like it and subscribe it. You can do it. I know you can. But we are the Turners, Terrell and Jen, and we help couples communicate in their relationship. It's your home for faith-filled content to help you communicate in your marriage, in your relationship with your boo thing. Absolutely.
That's right. I like how you said subscribe it.
Subscribe
it. Get that subscribed. You did. Get it subscribed. But yes.
Subscribe. You can do it. You got a subscription to Netflix. You got a subscription to the Haven.
That's right.
You can do it. And this one doesn't cost you anything, right? So, right. It is Labor Day weekend, I believe it is.
It's coming up.
And we got, 8-year-olds now?
Yes. It's almost September. Very happy about that.
I know it's cliche, but it really does go by so quickly. Like we just brought them home.
This little tiny babies.
My tiny baby boy, 2.5 pounder, Jaden. And my gosh, the kid is 8.
Jumping around, getting tall.
Like we're halfway to 16.
Halfway to 16. Think about that.
I don't want to.
So we're done with the little kid stage, which is a little crazy.
I'm so sad. I know,
sad. Especially when you look at videos or pictures, it's like, they were so cute. That was such a good time, such a good age. Yeah. And now we're about to get into, some good, real parenting.
At which we actually had my first... I mean, we've been parents.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to switch because I really had to father Jaden through something.
Some deeper stuff.
And start teaching him some lessons about courage and standing up for yourself and not letting someone, pick over you and how to, know who you are. And, I'm like, and we're getting some deep stuff now. And now it's like, hopefully it's going in one ear and staying in his heart.
Yeah.
So, it begins.
Yeah, and I know people listening that have teenagers are probably like, well, just wait. You still have it good right now with little 8-year-olds. Wait till you get to the teenage stage. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be good parenting.
Great. That's right.
We're excited. So I can't believe you said halfway to 16.
Halfway to 16.
Halfway
All right.
To 16.
So you're communicating. You have conversations and they get nowhere. Right. And you try to have the conversation again and it ends up in this loop. One of my favorite movies actually is Groundhog Day. Okay. Groundhog Day starting. And I'm trying to think of the actor's name. I can see him.
I don't know.
Bill Murray. Okay. There we go. Okay. And starring Bill Murray. Great movie. Okay. And basically he's in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania with the groundhog. Hence Groundhog Day. Yep. And he relives the same day over and over again until he can learn how to fall in love.
And does he do it?
He does. Okay. It takes him a while. Okay. But he gets stuck in this endless cycle. Okay. And a lot of times we can feel like we are stuck. We can never get anywhere.
Yes.
In this communication or in this conversation.
Yes. Or you feel like haven't we already had this conversation? Like, haven't we already worked through this issue? I know I felt that same, like, I know we've been through this before and now it's coming back up and we're talking about it again and it comes up again. So it is a loop and a cycle sometimes when we're working through some communication issues.
100%.
Especially in the marriage relationship.
God darn, yes.
So we're going to go through.
Not even marriage, every
relationship.
You got a boo. You've been here.
Okay. You've experienced it.
Absolutely.
You know what we're saying.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So today we're going to give you some hacks, some keys, some tips. That's what we're here for. What we do.
That's right.
We help you communicate. So the first thing you want to do to kind of get out of the cycle is you want to ask more questions. And ask more questions that are intentful, that are deep, that are going to get you to a resolution, that are going to get you to understanding.
Right.
So ask a question. You know, one of the things that I do is ask a lot of questions every day in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times I'll ask a question, but the answer that I want to get is 4 questions later.
Gotcha.
So when I'm having a conversation, I am listening, but I'm trying to guide that person to this answer. I can't ask that question just yet.
Gotcha.
Sometimes we go for the killer. Like, wait a minute. You got to ask, you know, A, B, and C before you get to E.
You're building the steps.
Right. So ask questions.
That's right. And I love this thing that we continue to do is don't stop asking the questions just when you're in the dating phase, because you'll ask all these questions to get to know the person. You're like, I have to figure out this person. I have to figure out what they're all about. But that does not end when you're married. Keep asking the questions. Ask
100%.
more questions.
I want to make sure I get this right. So if you guys hang on.
Yeah, sure.
That I know we're recording this.
We are recording this.
But I wanted to make sure I had it right, because if you're looking for, hey, well, what questions can I ask? Go to oakhavencompany.com/30 questions. I want to make sure I had the link right. oakhavencompany.com/30 questions. We got free questions you can ask right there, 30 that'll help you.
That's right. And then if you want even more,
because who wouldn't?
There's 180 questions, and that's our course, and it's awesome.
Right.
We had so much fun filming all the videos.
It's a great course. It really is. I encourage you to invest in that. The link will be in the show notes in the description. 180 questions. We ask one another these 180 questions, and we still do. And in the course, we film videos. We walk you through is it 8 or 6 categories? 6 categories. And spiritual, financial, fun, character, all kind of categories that'll help you with questions.
Kind of
so
questions.
Continue to ask questions to get out of the communication loop. You want to go ahead. Number 2.
All right. Number 2, our communication hack is to practice the pause.
I think you're an expert at this.
I like to listen versus talking.
Okay.
So especially in the heat of the moment, we're telling you to practice the pause. So give it a second. Don't react in anger or hurt or bitterness.
All right.
Give it a second. Take a pause. And it's not always about talking. We had another podcast about that a couple podcasts ago, so check that one out as well. It's not all about talking.
That's right.
So
In fact, Stop Talking was the name of the podcast.
Yes, but practice the pause. That's important.
I love it. So before you automatically become reactionary, pause it, let it marinate, listen, and then respond.
Yes.
The next, number 3 is, love this, me too, #me too. So basically embrace the power of being me too. So you'll never forget that me too.
That's right.
Whenever you hear me too, you're going to come back to this me too, because this me too is
relevant.
is relevant.
Yes.
Basically, it's finding common ground. It's all right. How in this conversation, where do we agree?
Okay.
Or where are we alike
in
this? And so coming alongside your person, remember they are your person, you are their person. And instead of getting stuck, we're gonna unstuck this by, okay, we agree there.
Yes.
So we can move forward to this point.
That's right. And also showing them empathy. So me too. I can understand where you're coming from. I may not be in the exact place as you are.
Might not agree. But
might not even agree.
Right.
But I'm with you and I'm on your side.
Yeah.
Me too. We're in this together.
Yeah. Again, I don't agree with you, but I can understand why you feel that way. And again, maybe if you don't understand that, that's when you're going to ask the Holy Spirit, like, Lord, help me understand why they feel this way.
Yes.
Right.
Or go back to number 1 and ask more questions.
Oh. Wah, wah. Go ahead.
All right. Number 4, I statements are your friends.
All right.
So instead of the statements that are accusing your partner, you did this, you make me feel this way. You
never do this.
You're never this way.
Right. You're always like this. Really? All the time?
All the time.
Right.
So we're going to use the I statement. So we're going to express how yourself, how we feel, but you're saying I. So I feel this way, and use those words to get your point across instead of being blaming the other person.
Yeah.
So I statements.
That takes practice, but really work through using I statements. I heard this.
Yes.
Instead of, you said this. Well, I heard.
Very true.
I heard.
It's a different thing.
Pick up eggs, or, you told me this. Well, I heard this.
Right.
So,
I statements are your friend.
This one is definitely a me.
Okay.
You want to write it out before you talk it out. So I really have to do this because sometimes I have to work up my courage. I've got to plot, plan, think through what I really want to say, especially if it's a more difficult conversation. Yeah. I really want to make sure that I have my words accurate. I pray over them.
Amen.
I rehearse my speech, or I rehearse my conversation.
Right.
I had to have some difficult conversations last month, and so I wrote those conversations out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just let it marinate, because I wanted to make sure that, number one, I said what needed to be said. It was clear. It was understood. Came through the right tone. I was a little nervous. I'm not a controversial, dramatic person, confrontational.
People,
So for me, it takes a little bit more work.
Yeah. And for me too, it helps to write it out. I don't know if you would say this is good or bad, but sometimes it's hard for me to actually speak the words. I'll get like super emotional about it.
Okay.
And, cry. So sometimes, really, a lot of times it's easier for me to write it out. And sometimes I could get a lot more accomplished in a typed out conversation than I can talking, which isn't necessarily healthy, but it helps me to write it out and really process through things, especially if you do it, again, like you said, before you actually start communicating with the other person.
I would advise, to work on the areas where you're not as strong in communication.
Right.
If that is verbal, if that is written. But in the areas where you do shine and where you are strong, do lean on those, but also kind of like your right hand, built the left hand, if your left hand built the right hand. So work on those areas where you do need some growth and improvement. Share a task. Is this yours?
This is mine. You're taking it. Number 6, share a task before you share words. So this is talking about when you want to communicate to really establish a connection with your partner. Instead of just start talking a whole bunch of words, actually share a task with them.
Or I was going to say, because again, we're trying to, like, if we're in a conversation or we're on a topic and we're getting stuck. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, well, let's talk through this while we do something.
Okay.
So let's try, I'm going to load the dishwasher and you're going to wash the dishes or rinse them off while we talk through this.
I feel like it takes a little pressure off, right? Yes. And you're also sharing a task. So you're doing something physically that is also, something together that will help the conversation flow as well. Taking a walk with your partner is great.
Exactly.
Just being side by side, you're not sitting there staring at the person.
Right.
It's a different kind of feel when you're communicating. Right. But share an activity or share a task and then dive into the communication.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Take a bubble bath.
Okay. Together?
Together.
Okay.
Like, would you sit there arguing about the budget, like covered in bubbles?
Right. Just even thinking about it.
Right. Just switch it up.
Yeah.
If you're having a really difficult conversation, you know what? Let's talk about this in the bubble bath.
Let's bring the stress down.
Bring the stress down. Have the
actually physically
have the music. Yeah.
Put the spa music on.
Have the spa music with the spearmint eucalyptus candle going.
And be like, okay, where were we when we were talking about that? I know we were really upset with each other. Let's work it out.
But that is something I would probably suggest that we would do if we were really, having an intense conversation and we couldn't get past this one point. And every time we get stuck and the same thing over and over again. Let's take a bubble bath.
Let's try something new. Do something together while we're communicating.
Right.
Got it.
Break the cycle.
Yeah.
All right.
Got it.
I love this one. Use technology. Use technology. Am I saying this right?
Yes.
I'm sprung.
You got it. You got it.
Use technology wisely.
Yes.
Ooh. So in marriage, texting should only have 2 uses: planning or play. Tell us more about that.
So you can use texting, but let's use texting in a good way. So we're not arguing through texting, right?
Oh.
We're not saying mean things through texts.
Okay.
We're using our text. A lot of things need to be talked about, like logistics. Like, are you going to pick up the kids or am I? So let's use that to get the planning done.
Okay.
Or playful texts, sending you sweet messages, sending you playful text messages.
All right.
So using technology for and with your partner in a good way. Never
don't type an email and text.
Never a negative.
Right.
Never a negative thing.
Why is that?
Why do you think it is?
Really? So much can get lost in translation in text.
Very true.
It's hard to gauge tone in text. That's
commonly
a big one. Misunderstood.
Yep.
In text. And then we got to wrap it up. But, try that. That could be a rule of intentful. We did a boundary email. I'm tired. A boundary podcast last episode.
Yes.
Of boundaries. So maybe one of those is like, we will never communicate negatively through text.
Right. We're using texting for good, right? We're using our conversation. If you need to have a deep, meaningful conversation, or you need to bring up something that's important,
make it important and use an important form, which is face-to-face.
Yes, which is face-to-face. And like Terrell said, tone can be lost. There's a lot of typos in texting. A lot of things aren't communicated well through text. Right. But if you need to do quick planning, logistics, and then also don't forget to use it for good. Use it for fun. Flirt with your partner. Use it for something that is building up your marriage and not bringing it down.
All right, let's move right along.
All right, number 8 is to actually release your expectations. So don't forget that communication hack is to release your expectations. So often we have things in our head of how we want things to be or how we want a conversation to go, and we're already working through the whole conversation in our head before we're even communicating with our partner.
100%.
So take away the expectations, or at least present those to your partner. So, hey, I want to sit down and have a meaningful conversation.
Oh, Lord, here we go, right? Things like that. So don't already have, maybe your mind is not going to work.
Right, exactly. Mindset again. Yes.
Mindset.
Absolutely.
Which brings us, how do I get there? Yep. 9, prioritize prayer.
Absolutely.
So bring prayer, incorporate that into your relationship. Yes, it sounds so elementary, but I guarantee you, I cannot tell you over and over how many couples we talk to who don't do this, who don't spend quality time every day in prayer for one another and for their relationship. It is critical. It's important. You want to go to okhavencompany.com/5prayers and get our 5 powerful prayers you need for your relationship. It will change your marriage. It really will.
That's right. And remember that prayer should come first. It's not just a response to bad things happening. That should be the first thing that you're doing at all times. And number 10,
we can do it together. Laughter is the best medicine.
Laughter is the best medicine. This is one of my favorites. Keep your relationship filled with laughter. Have fun. Enjoy each other. Have inside jokes. Make fun of each other sometimes in a good way, in a happy way. Laugh with each other. It's so important.
Hope you got something from today's episode. We enjoyed giving it to you and talking through it with you. I apologize for all my ramblings and
it's okay. Maybe they'll laugh at us, which is the best medicine.
Which is the best medicine. So if you got anything from today's episode, let us know in the comments. What did you agree with? If you didn't disagree, do you have anything you would counsel or give people that will unstick or unstuck the conversation? Let us know. Drop us a DM at Oak Haven Company or hi at oakhavencompany.com. So I mentioned we have a few giveaways or a few resources.
Yes, we do.
It was the 30 questions. We talked about that.
Yep.
So oakhavencompany.com/30 questions. The other one was the prayer guide.
Yes, the 5 prayers.
Yep. At the oakhavencompany.com/5 prayers. Again, all this will be in the show notes and description. If I'm talking too fast, I'm hopped up on Sprite. And
and if you haven't heard, we're starting our relationship challenge September 1st, which is just a few days away.
Yep,
so make sure you grab that and come alongside us as well. It'll just be a quick, actionable task you can do every day in the month of September for your partner to improve your communication, prioritize your spouse, and put the first things that actually matter first.
I love it. So remember, if you got anything, any little thing, just take 2.5 seconds, hit that thumbs up, smash the bell, subscribe it, and like it, and do it because we need it. So it helped this video push out more so other people can find it just like you. We can grow the community. If you're listening on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, rate and review And we would greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to us, and we greatly appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. And remember that wisdom builds the house.